Hey everybody, this is Darren Van Dam and you're watching Flick Connection, the show that helps you get more out of movies. And today I want to tell you about 10 horror movies you can currently watch on Amazon Prime.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Now for this particular list, I'm going to talk specifically about some throwback horror movies. So these all came out before 2000, some of them well before 2000, but they're all really great picks. In fact, some of them are the absolute best horror movies you can currently watch on Amazon. So all the way back here at number 10, I've got the newest movie on the list, and that is the original Blair Witch Project. Now, before you click off of this video, this is number 10. They do get better, but the Blair Witch Project does have a lot of merit. Now, the genre of the found footage movie is really played out. There are some good little gems that have come out recently that are doing new things, but keep in mind, the Blair Witch Project was one of the first to do it, and when it came out, it was the first movie in a long time that audience goers considered to be scary. And the movie, really, on a first viewing, particularly if you're not used to this genre back when it came out, did a great job of making things scary by doing nothing. I was very young when this came out, but I particularly remember one of the main characters talking about how the night before he heard cackling like in the distance outside of his tent. Now, nothing scary happened on film. Somebody's talking about that during the daytime, but the movie did a great job of creeping me out with little tricks like that. So for that, it does have merit, making it a decent throwback watch, which is why I've got it here at the back of the pack. At number 9, the original Child's Play is on Amazon Prime. Just a fun movie to watch. Now, these movies actually, they got worse but more fun as they progressed on into the 2000s. They really figured out their audience and really had a lot of fun with the character, but the first one is weird and creepy in a lot of ways because I think the franchise had not quite found its tone, and it's a little bit odd. Like, it takes itself maybe a little bit too seriously, but then you're also talking about a doll. Like, it's got a weird thing that really is kind of just spine-chilling, and if you want to watch just like a wild 80s movie, Child's Play is a great place to start. To me, Amityville Horror is a great little horror movie. It's a classic for a reason. It works in so many ways. By the way, James Brolin looks exactly like Christian Bale in this movie, in every movie he was in when he was this age. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So you're welcome for that little gem. But, you know, for the longest time, people believed that this was based on a real house, which sort of added to the scare factor on it. Turns out it's barely based on anything remotely real, but it still sort of fits into that Exorcist, The Omen, those old classics. For me, it's at the bottom of the list of the top ones out there, but it still squeaks its way onto that list and deserves to be somewhat compared to movies like that. So for that, it definitely deserves a spot on this list. One that I think is even better, which is why I have it in front of it on the list, is Pumpkinhead. This is a really great creature feature with some really great puppet and animatronic work by an early Stan Winston. Really fun, kind of gross, creepy stuff. This is a great Halloween watch for obvious reasons, but it has got a great little Halloween mood about it. Almost every shot in this movie is spooky. Even when nothing's happening, the movie just looks creepy. And then the monster is just so well designed. It looks so good. And there's just really something to these really well done practical effects monsters. Pumpkinhead is one of the best ones that is somehow like overlooked by a ton of people. If you never watch this one, I'm going to go ahead and call it and say it's a must-watch for this Halloween. Another one that is a must-watch if you've never seen it is Return of the Living Dead. Now, there are a lot of Living Dead movies. Do not get this twisted and confuse it. Remember that I'm talking about Return of the Living Dead. This one is so fun, and the reason I'm being an asshole about it is because I've made the mistake and thought I was watching Return of the Living Dead, and I ended up watching another Living Dead movie. Return of the Living Dead is a fun 80s movie. Now, it's zombies coming up out of graves, you know, with fog machines and 80s hair and punk rock and an oily, you know, horrifying looking zombie that says brains. You know, I mean, it's that classic of a zombie flick. It's fun and it's scary, and it's just a great way to spend 90 minutes during Halloween this year. If you like this type of content, definitely click that subscribe button and be sure to click the little bell icon too, and you'll get notified anytime I put a new video out. Now, my number 5 pick is barely a horror movie, but it is a great Halloween watch. Jacob's Ladder. Now, this one is really one of the best movies on the list, but because it's not quite a horror flick, I had to put it back here at number 5. But it stars Tim Robbins, and he is a guy who is trying to figure out whether or not he's descending into hell or not. He keeps having these hellacious visions of demons, and the movie becomes more and more horrifying. If you're a fan of like Silent Hill, those movies or games, the look of those got inspiration from certain scenes in Jacob's Ladder. If you watch the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This one has some of the most nightmare-inducing imagery you're going to find in any movie, let alone anything on Amazon Prime right now, which makes it a perfect pick for Halloween. I'm very excited to have a number 4 pick that I know a lot of people have not seen. It is called Zombie, and as of right now, me recording this video, there is no cover art in Amazon for it, so you are going to have to search for it. But it's called Zombie. It's occasionally referred to as Zombie 2. Now, this one is a lot of fun. It is a zombie rite of passage. If you consider yourself a zombie fan and you've never seen this, when this video is over, stop what you're doing, fire up Amazon Prime, and watch it. I'm telling you, it is that good. Now, some of it was filmed in a foreign language, and it was dubbed. So it's weird and it's a little off-putting, but after about 5 minutes, you'll settle in, you'll get used to it. But the reason to watch this one is it's got some incredible sequences with pretty decent makeup jobs on the zombies. Really impressive at times and then really piss poor at other times. But a zombie feeds on a shark, and it's really someone in a zombie costume grabbing onto a real live shark amongst like a coral reef. The zombies are coming up out of the soil and worms are coming out of their eyes. A woman is attacked through a door in a really great way that I do not want to spoil. It's got so many fun things in it that you don't get in a lot of zombie movies, and this is an old one that is just criminally underwatched. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer is another must-watch. It is a movie that follows around a serial killer. Not follows around like in a found footage type of way, but you are following the main character, and he is a ruthless serial killer. So instead of like running from the serial killer in this movie, you're with him, watching him go through killing somebody, getting rid of the body, the whole thing, having confrontations with another killer. Like, it's just a different perspective, and it was really, really horrifying when it came out. Not necessarily scary, it just sort of depends on your frame of mind, but just like, it just was warped. Super, super warped. Really, really well acted. This one is another one that's just like a rite of passage for horror. If you never saw it and you really want to get into like classic horror, this one is a must watch. It's not going to be on Prime forever, so be sure to put it on your list and be sure to watch it soon. And my top 2, both required viewing if you consider yourself to be a horror fan. One is Carrie, directed by Brian De Palma, written by Stephen King. It is a classic horror movie for a reason. Not only does it just have some classic sequences like the pig's blood and the entire prom sequence, but it really sort of it explores like what would happen if somebody really had superpowers and what would happen if that person was teased and bullied. So again, very sort of poignant for what's going on in the world today still. So I highly recommend watching it with that frame of mind, even if it's been a while since you have seen it. And then my number 1 pick, I don't think hardly anybody can disagree with me on this one, but Night of the Living Dead. It's the original version. It is a just masterpiece of horror. It created the zombie movie. You know, we're kind of at the tail end of all the zombie craze. The past 10 years, everyone's really gone nuts for zombies. That has faded out, but this movie still holds strong. George A. Romero built an entire career of zombies based off of this, and for good reason. It's got a lot of great elements to it, and you got to consider back when this came out, not only was it just essentially a small indie movie done on a very, very low budget, but it was very successful, and considering it came out in the 60s, the hero of this movie is black, so that was cutting edge, the gore was cutting edge, the concept was cutting edge, the low micro budget of it and how good it actually was and how appreciated it was, that was new and cutting edge. So many things to love about this movie, and you can watch it and it's still thrilling. Be careful because there is a remake that came out in I believe the early 90s that's also called Night of the Living Dead. Just avoid that one. Watch the one from the 60s. Black and white. Black and white is perfect for that story, perfect for the way that movie is shot. It's the best movie on the list, which is why I put it at number 1. But let me know what you will be watching in the comments below. But I'm going to keep making videos just like this one as long as you keep watching them. But thanks for watching this one, and you will see me on the next one.